obviously Dallas and Edmonton for sure, but let's put a bow on, and we'll get Ed Jovo momentarily. But boys, come on, like Florida Panthers, they just keep getting better.
You want to talk about handshakes?
Go handshakes. Go anywhere you want.
No, quick. Well, just 3 years in a row for Florida Panthers. It's pretty incredible. You know, the core still there through the whole thing. I don't know.
Okay, last night is the anti. We've been talking about the Leafs for an hour, so pardon my Leafs bragging, but they're the anti-Leafs last night. They fall down 2-0 in that game. They're
on the road.
They are no good for the first half of that game. Turnovers, Bobrovsky lets in softies. They immediately get one back, and they just stay in
the fight. That Barkov goal. So we've had a conversation on the show that I think Matthew's not that far behind Barkov or whatever. Didn't help me.
He wore old Orlov like a backpack and then puts it out front of Verhaeghe.
And Robinson was it?
Yeah.
Thought he was going behind the net, and then he dished it goal line flat. It's like 7 minutes left to clinch the series.
And just Verhaeghe, like, the puck landed on a guy's stick in the slot more in big spots.
He's kind of Justin Williams.
It's unbelievable.
He's new Justin Williams.
All right, let's go to Ed Jovanovski, who covers the Panthers on a regular basis, regular contributor to our show. Jovo, thanks for joining us. You know, I was just telling the guys, man, you know, I'm so jealous of you just following this team out. It's the easiest gig in the world. You're stealing money, Jovo. Stealing money, talking about constantly how good these guys are.
Yeah, you got to take it when you can, right? And I really appreciate the guys continuing this so we continue to work. But you're right, Kipper. I mean, it has been a treat, especially obviously the last few years. And now we're on our third consecutive trip to the Stanley Cup final. You know, just to see the growth of this team, the change over the team, and to continue to do it, it's been special. What a game last night.
Yeah, that kind of embodied the Panthers a little bit. So how much of it, like the reputation of the Panthers just being so physical and the way that they play, are they very different than the team that went there the first time they went to the Stanley Cup final, or is it still the same thing?
I think it's the same thing. It's the same system. I think when Mo came in here, obviously, you know, we discussed this before about, you know, if you're going to make advances, you know, in the playoffs, you got to play tight defensively and be defensive minded and take care of your own end and all that kind of thing. And I think for the physical part of the game, you see it. I mean, sometimes, you know, the team will play that run and gun style, but they'll mix it up whatever they can. I think, and physically, I think if it's going to go the duration of a series, you see how teams, you know, kind of wear down because they do have kind of that repetitive kind of get the puck in, good on the forecheck, banging bodies, defensemen continually keeping plays alive, in on the play, in on the cycle. And you can see it last night too, when they did have Carolina hemmed in, man, they're something to watch, and they're very tough to contain, and they're getting a lot of opportunities, you know, from that aggressive play. We say aggressive, I also mean responsible defensively. For the most part, you have that third guy high. He's tracking back. He's really allowing everybody to kind of get involved, knowing that there is some cover up there.
Matthew Tkachuk's gone on record and talked about just the thought process of just we're going to pound you to the ground. We don't know when it's going to kick in, but it could kick in Game 6, Game 7, or Game 7 of overtime. But we're going to get you. And it's one thing to say it, but it's another thing to actually believe in it. And then once you believe in it, it's almost as if it's contagious because it just goes through the whole lineup. Like, guys get braver around certain guys. And to me, it's right through the lineup, Jovo.
Helps Seth Jones, I think.
Yeah, it is, Kipper. And I think when your top guys are doing it, there's no reason that it doesn't kind of just trickle down through your whole lineup. And whether it's, you know, Matthew, for example, is getting it. Yeah, he's been close to point a game, you know, kind of in the playoffs, but it ain't going, you know, offensively. He's always touching the game in a different way. And that's that sandpaper you talk about, whether it's being good along the boards, being that net front presence, driving defensemen back. I think this team is kind of adapted to a style that tough to explain, where it just, you just love watching it. I mean, how many times have I heard kind of around the block or whatever the case may be, how fun this team is to watch, and they're vicious and they're like dogs, and this the way they go out there and relentless and work off each other. They really embody that team aspect, and it clearly shows as these playoffs move along.
You know what always catches my eye? So we're obviously in Toronto, and we've already moved on to talking about, like off-season stuff. So Sam Bennett's name comes up all the time. When I look at his stats and the way he plays, it's funny. Like 50 points, I think, is his career high. He plays 16 and a half minutes per night in the playoffs right now for Florida, yet he has such an incredible impact. How is he so important to this team without playing huge minutes?
Well, I think he's just so involved in everything, when he's on the ice. And we talk about kind of getting to those tough areas with Sam. He's not shy getting to those tough areas, and he gets rewarded a lot of the time. And said he's not a huge numbers guy, but he's so effective when he was on the ice, and he's got some wheels when he comes through the neutral zone. He can make some nifty plays. If you got your head down, he's gonna light you up. And he's scoring some big goals. And I think when you look at a team and you want to build a group, I mean, he's your second line center behind Barkov. It's pretty 1-2, and you go down to Lundell, and then, you go to Nosek down there, whoever is kind of these, guys that are just playing very tough. But I think Sam Bennett embodies, what it takes to win a hockey game. And I think when you look at that group, and we talk about Matthew and Benny's no different. I mean, the guy just does not give up, and he's going to get to that spot. He's going to do whatever it takes to get there. And boy, they're having fun doing it too. They're always smiling, working, and it's been fun to watch.
You're watching and listening to Ed Jovanovski, former NHL defenseman, covering the Panthers all season long. Jovo, is this team better than the one that won the Stanley Cup last season?
Did you guys hear Matthew's interview last night after?
No.
He said that if we had the same group, we probably wouldn't be here today. And I thought that was really interesting, because you're losing your buddies, and you have that turnover, and you have new guys in the system. But what it does, it brings that hunger to your group. And yeah, I mean, guys move on, guys are getting paid, and you got to make changes. But the guys that Bill Zito brought in fit the mold, and you got the hunger. And his words were yesterday, yeah, we're excited being in this position, having another opportunity to win, but we're more excited for the guys that are brought into the fold. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was just a true leader, the way he speaks. Let these guys experience this and have an opportunity to win with a handful of other guys.
Jovo, I want to follow that up with you, because you're a defenseman in the National Hockey League that played over 1,100 games. Do you have an appreciation from watching a guy like Seth Jones struggle the last little while in Chicago, being told you're